that he judged himself. That was his highest moment. You, Red Judge, if you were to tell out loud all that you have already done in thought, everyone would cry, "Away with this filth and this poisonous worm!" But thought is one thing, and deed is another, and the image of the deed still another. The wheel of causality does not roll between them. Deed and the image of the deed. What the hell does he mean by the image of the deed? I leave it with you.
Well, what he means by image of the deed is we're always dealing with images of the thing. So the deed is separate from the idea we have of the deed. Okay, so a deed happened, but there are going to be lots of components that are important to that besides that it happened. The emotional impact and the way that people reacted, and that is often spoken as a direct result of the deed or part of the deed. In reality, it's a separate thing. It's a cognitive construct, like our mind is a computer trying to form a model of the deed.
He was equal to his deed when he did it, but he could not bear its image after it was done. Listen, O judges, there is yet another madness, and that comes before the deed. Why did this criminal murder? He wanted to rob. But I say unto you, his soul wanted blood, not robbery. His poor reason, however, did not comprehend this madness and persuaded him, "What matters blood?" it asked. "Don't you want to at least commit a robbery with it?" And he listened to his poor reason. What is this man? A heap of diseases, which through his spirit reach out into the world. There they want to catch their prey. I am a railing by the torrent. Let those who can grasp me. Your crutch, however, I am not. Now on reading and writing. I hate reading idlers. Another century of readers, and the spirit itself will stink. That everyone may learn to read in the long run corrupts not only writing, but also thinking. High priest-like activity of reading to the rabble and the masses.
No. He's not saying that, reading, he's not making an elitist comment about reading. In just a moment, he talks about he doesn't want to be read, he wants to be understood. He's talking about people that read without understanding. Reading is a creative act. You create an understanding of what you're reading. And that's what he is talking about. People that merely read, without thinking. Merely read without thinking.
Whoever writes in blood and aphorisms does not want to be read but to be learned by heart. Does not want to be read but to be learned by heart. Courage wants to laugh. True, we love life, not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. There is always some madness in love, but there is always some reason in madness. And to me, too, as I am well disposed toward life, butterflies and soap bubbles, and whatever among men is of their kind, seem to know most about happiness. Now, I just read that 4 times over, and I don't know what the hell he is saying. So I leave it with you.
Okay, I think what he's saying here is that, while he's criticizing people for their petty pleasures, sort of maybe he's characterizing them as the childish, simple pleasures, a butterfly, or not childish, but corny, however you want to put it, butterfly, a soap bubble flying along, He's not denying that those are pleasurable. He's going to leave that to those that understand the small pleasures of life, to be experts in that. He's not going to say that those aren't actually pleasurable and, desirable in some sense. That's what I think he's saying. Amidst criticizing people for things like their wretched contentment, which they sustain with pleasures such as those. Superficial, if genuine, just shallow pleasures.
In the mountains, the shortest way is from peak to peak. But for that, one must have long legs. Another one of my favorite lines from Nietzsche. Aphorisms should be peaks, and those who are addressed tall and lofty. I pause there for a minute. An aphorism is a floating abstraction which, if the person can't think of anything when they're hearing it in reality, or if the person speaking it didn't mean anything when they said it, didn't have anything in mind, then it's likely the person hearing it won't get anything. That aphorism is floating. It's not useful. It certainly couldn't do you any good, except possibly some sort of bizarre inspiration, like the inspiration we're getting from some of Nietzsche's lines here. Some of them are just damn good lines, even if they are a bit nonsense and tripe. They're like poetic thought, twist of an idea that you didn't see coming. But it's no virtue to talk in these twists of ideas and stuff if none of them are applicable to reality, if you can't reduce them somehow to something relevant to you in life.
Well, that's what Nietzsche says.
Relevant to you in life.
And Zarathustra is metaphorical, and in that sense poetic, but I think you'll find that he's chosen his metaphors very carefully. And it's actually fairly concrete in the sense that the whole book is about philosophy having to apply to life. And yes, the book itself is meant to apply to life. These are meant to have concrete meanings, but see, what he's saying is that he wants to be able just to build a mountain top. And only those that already know the mountain can step from mountaintop to mountaintop.
Lofty, the air thin and pure, danger near. For I am courageous, courage that puts ghosts to flight, creates goblins for itself, courage wants to laugh. I no longer feel as you do, this cloud which I see beneath me, this blackness and gravity at which I laugh. This is your thundercloud.